Officer Kayla Brennan's body cam captured the scene at 11:47 p.m. on March 3, 2024. A basement in a rental house on Oakwood Drive in Columbus, Ohio. Behind a makeshift wall of plastic sheeting, officers found a small enclosed space, a mattress on bare concrete, a chain bolted to the cinder block wall, empty soup cans and water bottles scattered across the floor, a stuffed elephant pushed into the corner. The basement belonged to 41-year-old Marcus Chen. He'd rented the house for 18 months. Neighbors described him as quiet, kept to himself, worked nights at a distribution center. Officers had come with a warrant, not for kidnapping, for stolen property. An anonymous tip about stolen electronics being fenced through Chen's address. They expected to find laptops and phones. They found something worse. The plastic sheeting was thick, industrial grade. Sound, dampening foam lined the walls behind it. The chain was heavy duty, military surplus. It was bolted directly into the foundation with concrete anchors, but the space was empty. No one was there. Officers searched the rest of the house. Chen wasn't home. His car was gone. A coffee cup on the kitchen counter was still warm. Detective Sarah Kowalski arrived 20 minutes later. She stood in the basement entrance and looked at the makeshift cell, the chain, the mattress, the stuffed elephant. She radioed dispatch. They needed to find Marcus Chen, and they needed to know who'd been in that basement. Her name was Maya Torres, 15 years old, a sophomore at Westgate High School. She'd been missing for 4 months. Maya lived with her mother, Elena, and younger brother in an apartment complex 2 miles from Chen's rental house. On November 2nd, 2023, she left for school at 7:15 a.m. She never arrived. Her phone last pinged near a bus stop 3 blocks from her home. Elena reported her missing within hours. Police canvassed the route. They found her backpack in a storm drain. Her phone was never recovered. For 4 months, Elena held vigils, posted flyers, pleaded on local news. The case generated initial attention, then faded from headlines. Detectives had no solid leads, no witnesses, no surveillance footage of the abduction. Maya's case file was thick with dead ends, until March 3rd, when officers pulled back that plastic sheeting. The stuffed elephant in the corner had a tag. Property of Maya Torres, age 8, written in faded marker. Her mother would later confirm she'd had it since childhood. Never went anywhere without it. Maya had been in that basement. The question was, where was she now? Maya Torres woke up at 6:30 a.m. on November 2nd, 2023. She showered, made breakfast for her younger brother, packed her backpack. She was careful, always walked the same route to the bus stop, always texted her mother when she arrived at school. She'd been worried about a biology test that day. She'd studied the night before. Stayed up past midnight reviewing cell division and mitochondrial functions. Her mother kissed her goodbye at the apartment door, told her good luck on the test. Maya smiled, said she'd ace it. She left the apartment at 7:15 a.m. Security cameras in the complex parking lot captured her walking toward the street. She wore a blue hoodie, gray backpack, white sneakers. She never made it to the bus stop. Marcus Chen left his house that morning at 6:45 a.m. His shift at the distribution center started at 8 a.m., but he didn't go to work. His time card shows no punch-in for November 2nd. He called in sick. Instead, he drove his 2018 Honda Civic through Maya's neighborhood. Traffic cameras captured his vehicle passing the intersection near her apartment complex at 7:09 a.m. The same vehicle appeared again at 7:23 a.m., heading in the opposite direction. What happened in those 14 minutes was reconstructed later through digital forensics and witness statements. Chen parked his car behind a convenience store 2 blocks from Maya's bus stop. He approached on foot. He'd been watching her routine for weeks. He knew exactly when she walked this route. He knew she'd be alone. A doorbell camera 3 houses down captured grainy footage. A man in a dark jacket walking quickly on the sidewalk. The timestamp, 7:17 a.m. Then Maya appears in frame, walking in the same direction. The man speeds up, gets closer. The camera angle cuts off. What happened next was never captured on video, but investigators found the spot. scuff marks on the pavement behind a tall hedge. Maya's phone in the gutter nearby, screen shattered, her backpack 50 feet away in that storm drain. Chen's car appeared on traffic cameras again at 7:31 a.m., heading toward his rental house. One camera got a clear view through the windshield. Someone was in the passenger seat, slumped against the window. He pulled into his garage at 7:43 a.m. The door closed behind him. Neighbors saw nothing, heard nothing. Maya woke up in the basement hours later. The chain was already on her ankle, the plastic sheeting already in place. The stuffed elephant she'd been carrying in her backpack was on the mattress beside her. For 4 months, she lived in that space. Chen worked his night shifts, came home in the early morning, brought her food, water. Sometimes he just sat on the stairs and watched her. He told her no one was looking for her anymore, that her mother had given up, that he was the only person who cared whether she lived or died. He was wrong about that. But Maya had no way to know. The chain was 6 feet long enough to reach the mattress, the corner with the bucket she used as a toilet, and the small area where he left her food. Not long enough to reach the stairs. Not long enough to reach anything she could use as a weapon or tool. The sound-dampening foam meant no one would hear her scream. She tried it first, for days, then weeks. Then she stopped, saved her voice for when Chen came down, tried to seem compliant, cooperative, tried to survive. Chen made one mistake, one digital footprint he thought he'd erased. On February 28, 2024, he posted a laptop for sale on a local marketplace forum. The listing included a photo of his workbench. In the background, barely visible, was the edge of that plastic sheeting. A user reported the listing, not because of the sheeting, because the laptop was stolen property, their device, taken in a break-in 3 weeks earlier. Police got a warrant for Chen's address based on the stolen property report. They scheduled the search for March 3rd. They had no idea what they'd find. Officers secured the scene at 11:52 p.m. No one entered the basement space until crime scene investigators arrived. Detective Kowalski stood at the top of the stairs and photographed everything: the chain, the mattress, the foam panels, the positioning of the food containers, the stuffed elephant. She didn't touch anything. Not yet. CSI arrived at 12:30 a.m. They processed the basement for 6 hours. Every surface, every item, every inch of that makeshift cell. They found DNA evidence immediately: hair on the mattress, skin cells on the chain, fingerprints on the water bottles. They ran it through the database. Maya Torres, positive match. They found Chen's DNA too, on the plastic sheeting, on the food containers, on the stuffed elephant. He'd been careful, but not careful enough. The chain had scratches, deep gouges where Maya had tried to pry it loose from the wall. The concrete around the bolt had stress fractures. She'd worked at it for months, but the anchor was military grade, 2 inches deep into solid foundation. It never budged. Investigators found a notebook hidden under the mattress. Maya's handwriting, daily entries, what Chen said to her, what he brought her. How many hours passed between his visits? She'd been documenting everything, building a timeline, hoping someone would find it. The last entry was dated February 29th. He said he's moving soon, said he has to get rid of evidence. I don't know what that means. Detectives found receipts in Chen's bedroom for plastic sheeting purchased in October 2023, for the chain and bolt system purchased the same month, for sound dampening foam ordered online, all bought weeks before Maya disappeared. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. They found his laptop in the living room. Digital forensics pulled the browser history. He'd been researching kidnapping cases, reading forums about how abductors got caught, learning from their mistakes. He'd searched for Maya Torres specifically, found her school, her social media, her mother's address. He'd been stalking her online for 3 months before the abduction. His search history from February showed something else: how to dispose of a body. Quicklime decomposition rates. Rural dump sites, Ohio. He was planning to kill her, but something stopped him. Investigators found a receipt dated March 1st, a one-way plane ticket to the Philippines. Departure date, March 5th, Chen was running, leaving the country, leaving Maya behind. Whether he planned to kill her first or just abandon her chained in that basement, no one would ever know. The basement window showed signs of attempted entry. From the inside, scratches around the frame, the lock mechanism damaged. Maya had tried to escape. She'd almost gotten the window open, but the chain wouldn't reach high enough. She was 6 inches short. Officers found tools hidden in the ceiling tiles, a screwdriver, a small pry bar. She'd been stealing them from Chen's workbench, one at a time, over months, building a kit to break free. She was 15 years old, and she'd never stopped fighting. But where was she now? Detective Kowalski looked at the evidence. The plane ticket, Chen's empty house, his car missing, the notebook entry about getting rid of evidence. They had 48 hours before that flight departed, maybe less before Chen did something irreversible. She called in FBI assistance, issued a bolo for Chen's vehicle, alerted airports and border crossings, put out a public appeal with both Chen's photo and Maya's. Then they waited. Marcus Chen's Honda Civic was spotted at 3:17 a.m. on March 4th, a gas station security camera in rural Pickaway County, 60 miles south of Columbus. He paid cash, didn't go inside, pumped gas, and left. Highway patrol units mobilized, set up checkpoints on routes leading toward Kentucky and West Virginia. If Chen was running, he was running south. They found the car at 7:42 a.m., abandoned in a rest area parking lot off Route 23. Engine cold, driver's door unlocked, no one inside. K9 units arrived. The dogs picked up a scent trail leading into the woods behind the rest area. Officers followed on foot. The trail ended at a creek bed half a mile in. No sign of Chen, no sign of Maya, but there were footprints, 2 sets, one larger, one smaller, leading downstream. Helicopter support was called in, infrared imaging. They swept the forest for heat signatures. Dense tree cover made it difficult, but at 9:15 a.m., they picked up something. 2 figures, stationary, 1 mile downstream from where the trail ended. Ground units moved in, tactical team, weapons drawn. They surrounded the location. Chen was sitting against a fallen log. Maya was beside him, still chained. The chain was attached to Chen's belt. He'd taken her with him, kept her restrained even as he fled. He didn't resist, didn't speak, just sat there as officers approached. Maya was conscious, dehydrated, hypothermic, but alive. An officer cut the chain, wrapped her in a thermal blanket, called for medical transport immediately. Chen was cuffed and read his rights. He stared at the ground, said nothing. Maya was airlifted to Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. She'd been outside for 9 hours in 40-degree weather, wearing only the thin clothes Chen had given her in the basement. No coat, no shoes. She was treated for exposure, malnutrition, and dehydration. Physically, she'd recover. The psychological damage would take longer, maybe forever, but she was alive. Investigators later reconstructed Chen's plan. He'd intended to kill Maya before fleeing, drive her to the woods, end it there, make it look like a runaway situation gone wrong. But when he got to the rest area, he couldn't do it. He told investigators later he just sat there with her for hours, trying to work up the nerve. Couldn't, so he walked into the woods with her. Thought maybe if he got deep enough, far enough from the road, he could do it there. He never did. When officers found them, he'd been sitting with her for over an hour. The gun was in his jacket pocket. He never pulled it out. Maya told investigators she knew he was going to kill her. She'd known since he put her in the car. She'd tried talking to him, pleading, reasoning. Nothing worked, but she stayed calm, stayed quiet, waited for her chance. When they stopped in the woods, when he sat down against that log, she'd asked him a question. "Do you think my mom will forgive you?" He didn't answer, just sat there. And that's when the helicopter found them. Maya Torres had survived 4 months in captivity, a midnight flight through freezing woods, and the moment her abductor had decided to kill her. She was 15 years old, and she'd saved her own life. Marcus Chen was 41 years old. He worked as a forklift operator at a distribution center. No prior criminal record, no history of violence, no red flags that anyone noticed. He was born in Columbus, lived alone, divorced 3 years earlier. No children. Co-workers described him as quiet, reliable, showed up on time, did his job, went home. His ex-wife told investigators he'd become withdrawn after the divorce, stopped socializing, spent all his time alone in that rental house. She'd never been inside, never saw the basement. Chen was transported to Franklin County Jail, booked at 2:47 p.m. on March 4th. He was charged with kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and attempted murder. Additional charges followed: aggravated burglary for the stolen laptop that led police to his house, possession of stolen property, 10 more counts of burglary linked to items found in his garage. The evidence was overwhelming: DNA at the scene, digital forensics showing premeditation, Maya's testimony, the notebook, the plane ticket, the gun. Chen's attorney advised him not to speak. He didn't. Not during processing. Not during his arraignment. Not during interrogation. He entered a plea of not guilty. His lawyer filed for a competency evaluation, argued Chen had experienced a mental break, that this wasn't the action of a rational person. The evaluation came back. Chen was competent to stand trial. Prosecutors built their case. 23 pieces of physical evidence, 47 photographs of the basement, Maya's DNA, Chen's DNA, the chain, the receipts, the searches, Maya's notebook entries, the tools she'd hidden, the scratches on the window frame, and Maya herself, ready to testify, ready to face him. Chen's lawyer approached prosecutors in May. His client wanted to make a deal, plead guilty to kidnapping and attempted murder. Spare Maya the trauma of trial. Spare himself the death penalty. Prosecutors consulted with Elena Torres, Maya's mother. She wanted him to go to trial, wanted the whole story public, wanted everyone to know what he'd done to her daughter. But she asked Maya what she wanted. Maya said she wanted it over, said she wanted to move on, said she didn't want to spend months reliving it in court. Elena agreed to the plea deal. On June 18, 2024, Marcus Chen stood before a judge and pleaded guilty to kidnapping, to unlawful restraint, to attempted murder. The judge asked him why he did it. Chen had one chance to explain, to say something, anything. He said 6 words. "I don't know why I did it." That was all. Marcus Chen was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on all counts, to be served consecutively. The judge added 5 years for the burglaries. Not that it mattered. He would die in prison. He's currently incarcerated at the Ohio State Penitentiary in Youngstown. Maximum security. He'll be 62 when he's eligible for his first review, which will be denied. He'll be there until he dies. Maya Torres spent 2 weeks in the hospital. Physical recovery was quick. Psychological recovery took longer. She was diagnosed with PTSD, severe anxiety, depression. She started therapy 3 times a week. Still goes twice a week now. She finished her sophomore year through online schooling. Returned to Westgate High for junior year. Graduated in 2026 with honors. She gave one interview after the trial. To a local news station, said she wanted people to know she wasn't broken. That Chen took 4 months of her life, but he didn't take her future. She's enrolled at Ohio State University, majoring in criminal psychology. Wants to work with kidnapping survivors. Help them the way her therapist helped her. Elena Torres started a foundation, Maya's Voice. It provides therapy funding for families of missing children, supports searches for kids who haven't been found, advocates for better Amber Alert systems. The house on Oakwood Drive was demolished in August 2024. The property owner couldn't rent it. No one would live there. He sold the land to the city. They turned it into a small park. No plaque, no memorial, just green space. Maya visits sometimes, sits on the bench, looks at where that basement used to be. She says it helps her remember she survived, that she's here and Chen isn't. The stuffed elephant from the basement is in evidence storage. Maya doesn't want it back, says it belongs to the girl who was chained in that basement. And that's not who she is anymore. The case changed protocols in Columbus. Police now respond more aggressively to missing teen cases. Assume abduction until proven otherwise. Maya's case proved that teenagers don't just run away. Sometimes, they're taken. Sometimes they're held in basements 2 miles from home. Sometimes no one knows they're there until a random stolen laptop listing leads police to the door. Maya Torres was missing for 121 days. She was 15 years old. She documented everything in a notebook. She stole tools and tried to escape. She talked to her abductor in the woods when she knew he was going to kill her. She saved her own life. Marcus Chen is 62 years old now. He'll die in prison. He never explained why, never apologized, never showed remorse. Maya doesn't need his apology anymore. She's got something better. She's got her life back.